Hi, from Saltersgate. I'm sitting in the cupboard that you see on your screen right now. And I've been working in the outdoors with special needs young people for quite a few years. So I thought it might be useful if I share some of my hints and tips, because I've made many mistakes. So I'm still learning, and although I've learned a lot, and I thought it might be quite useful to go over some things and give some tips. There's no one size fits all with outdoor learning in special ASN work, like there might be in mainstream or in outdoor residential setting. What you create is based on your own relationships, your own knowledge, and your own experiences. So here's a start with some quick fire tips from me. So next slide, please. Right, next. So I'm going to talk about three things. Firstly, the group. Secondly, the natural resources you have available. And thirdly, activity and learning. So the group, first of all. Next, please. And next again. Next again. Thank you. So, missed one there. So the first one was mobility. So when I get a group, because I work with every child in our school, which is about 100 young people, when I get a group, I have to think carefully about the mobility of the young people to make sure everyone is included. Second thing, behaviour. Some of the young people have particular behaviours, so I might have to choose a location very carefully. It may be that I can't go near a busy road or near water, because the young person may want to dive into the water or whatever. So I have to bear that in mind. Number three, medical needs. Make sure you have everything you will need for the time you're out for every young person. Yeah, very important. Four, communication needs. If a young person relies on a communication, you might get stuck out somewhere without having, and you can have quite a crisis if you haven't remembered what they need. So yeah, communication needs. Five, personal care needs. Actually, I've found a group shelter like that really quite useful for unexpected personal care needs. Okay, next slide. So just to go through these again, the next one we're going to talk about is the natural resources available to you. When I start working with a group, I have to think carefully about what I can use, and rather than just predictably going to like a special area of woodland, a lot of schools don't have a very special area, so I would always get a map and look really carefully at it for unexpected things. Next, please. So slopes, it's a rather strange thing to say, but slopes can be really interesting and really good fun, and they don't have to be very big to be useful. Next, please. Hilltops, tiny hilltops can be very exciting as an achievement. So I love getting young people to the tops of hills if possible, chairs and all. Tunnels are great for wheelchair users to be an inclusive thing. Quite a lot of cycle paths have tunnels. It's worth exploring your locality for any tunnels and echoes, very exciting. Woodland, woods are full of obviously trees and a fantastic resource, but not everyone has a lovely woodland near them. Next, please. Beaches, again, if you're lucky, you might have a beach. We do. Puddles must be one of the best sensory experiences for young people. A lot of our young people have sensory needs, and we spend a lot of time in puddles, and I get to know places where with different weather you'll get different textures. So you might get mud, you might get water, or the last slide is ice. So when you get frozen puddles, one of the best things ever. Next, please. The other thing I'd say is use the natural resources that are delivered to your door. So the wind is fantastic. Again, a fantastic learning experience with kites, with windmills. But you can also get rain, snow. Weather is delivered direct and really good fun. Sorry, next one's fine. Another thing I like to consider with our young people, many of whom never get the chance to have a bit of space. So when I'm out with a group, I like to, within safety margins, allow them some solitude. Next, please. And their friends, a lovely resource. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about is what I found happened in this school. Because I'm working with everyone across the school, I needed to make sure that I was recording the learning that was going on. We have a huge range of abilities and levels at which our students work. And I found that I was working on 6 main skills when I was out, which I'll show you next. The first was thinking about the season, the weather, and the clothing and equipment that a young person was experiencing and using. Second was the place that they were in and what they felt, what they knew about the place. Did they recognize it and where they were? Third thing was the journey they were making any journey from one place to another. The fourth thing was using their senses and an awareness of the environment. And the fifth thing, being with other people, which is challenging for some young people and not for others, but it's an important part of being outside. And the last thing, safety. So I had these 6 themes that I found I was working on with all of the young people, and I decided to put them into a template that I could record all of the 100 students. So I wrote it out roughly with the 6 templates down the left-hand side, and on the top, along the top, I had a range of levels from just experiential to first or second level. And the next slide, if you go through a couple of slides, and the next one. So that's the, yeah, and the next one. I typed it up a bit more tidily. And then I would put a young person into this template on where they were currently working. I put statements in it that I felt were appropriate to my context. So for example, at an early level, the season weather, I can go outside and experience the different weather. And if a young person managed that, then the box would go green and they would be working on the next level. And a sense of place goes from experiencing different places to actually demonstrate a journey in a place. So I've used this template for our students from P1 to S6 to actually make sure I progress their learning, because over the years I have the students again and again, so I take them to a different context, and it gives the learning a breadth, a depth and a progression, which has been quite successful for us. And next slide. That's another student working at a higher level, and they're recording. The next slide. That's it. I was trying to do a whistle stop tour for you. Thank you.